$400. That's what we paid for our Nanit Pro, and it's the number that made me second guess the whole purchase. We've had it in our house for over 2 years, long enough to go from a newborn in a crib to a 2.5-year-old in a toddler bed. Long enough to know what it does well, what it doesn't, and whether that subscription is worth paying for. If you're a parent looking at this monitor, these are the 10 questions I'd want answered before spending the money. Question 1, is the Nanit Pro actually worth the money? The Nanit Pro will cost you $300 to $400, and I think it's worth it, but only if you'll actually use the one feature that justifies the price. It's a luxury product. If spending $400 on a baby monitor stretches your budget, you can absolutely monitor your baby for less. People have been raising kids for a long time without a Nanit, but if you can afford it, the reason it's worth the money is that you'll actually use the features you're paying for. For me, the biggest one is being able to hear the monitor while the app runs in the background on my phone. I'm not tied to carrying a separate baby monitor. I'm not leaving an app open on my screen. I can use my phone normally and I still hear the baby if something happens. That one feature justified the price for us. Do you actually need the Insights subscription? No. You don't need the Nanit Insights subscription. And to their credit, the monitor still works without it. Nanit gives you a lengthy free trial, so you have plenty of time to figure out whether you'll actually use the features before paying for them. For us, the analytics were interesting, but they never changed anything we did. It was more like, hey, River slept 8 hours last night. Fun milestones to talk about, not information that made us better parents. The one feature I actually missed after the trial ended was video history. Being able to rewind and see why your baby started crying is genuinely useful. But I never once considered paying for the subscription because everything we actually wanted from the monitor still worked without it. Is the Nanit Pro better than a regular baby monitor? We went through 4 or 5 traditional baby monitors with our first 2 kids. Then we switched to the Nanit and never went back. If your biggest priority is avoiding Wi-Fi altogether, I'd probably stick with a traditional monitor. That's simply a different product for a different kind of parent. The biggest difference is that a traditional monitor only really works if you're actively listening to it. With the Nanit, I don't even have to have the app open. If my baby starts crying, I get a notification telling me it's time to pay attention. That's what made it better. Not the camera, not the app, the freedom to put my phone down and still know what's happening. How reliable is the Nanit Pro, especially with Wi-Fi? The Nanit Pro has been reliable for us, but it only works if your Wi-Fi reaches the nursery. If it doesn't, don't buy it. It doesn't need blazing internet speeds. It needs a strong connection where you mount it. During setup, the Nanit actually told me that our Wi-Fi wasn't strong enough until we got everything working properly and moved some things around. I appreciated that because I knew before relying on it whether there was a problem. Over more than 2 years, we've occasionally gotten a notification that the camera lost connection. Once or twice, I've unplugged it and plugged it back in, but overall, reliability hasn't been a thing for us. Your Wi-Fi is the single biggest factor in whether this monitor will work for you. Do you have to use your phone or should you buy the parent monitor? I used my phone as the baby monitor every night for 2 years, and I never felt the need to buy anything else. At night, one of us puts the Nanit app in the background on our phone and sets it on the nightstand. We can still hear the baby, and if we hear something, we just pick up the phone and look. When we bought our Nanit, there wasn't a dedicated parent monitor. Later, we bought an iPad for our smart products, and it naturally became our Nanit monitor during the day. Today, Nanit also sells their own 8-inch monitors, so you have that option too. But for us, using our phones at night and the iPad during the day worked so well that this ended up being much less of a concern than we expected. Should you buy the wall mount, floor mount, or flex stand? When choosing a Nanit mount, I think it's best to think about your house first, not the monitor. We chose the wall mount, and I'd make the same decision again. On our white walls, it almost disappears into the nursery. It feels like a part of the room instead of another baby gadget sitting next to the crib. If you're renting, don't want to mount anything to your walls, or think you'll be moving the monitor around, I'd seriously consider the floor stand. And if you travel a lot or need the most portable option, that's where the flex stand starts to make more sense. This is one of those decisions where your house matters just as much as the product itself. Is the Nanit Pro safe and secure? I've used the Nanit for over 2 years, and security has honestly never been something I've spent much time thinking about. We've never had anything happen that made us question its security or privacy, but if security is one of your biggest concerns, I'd encourage you to read what Nanit says about its encryption, privacy, and security practices. That's where the technical answers are going to come from, not me. What I can tell you is that our experience, we've trusted it enough to use it daily in our son's room, and we still do. Is the camera quality actually that good? The Nanit's camera quality is fine, but that's not what makes it special. What really makes it special is the overhead perspective. Most baby monitors are looking through the crib rails. The Nanit is looking straight down, and for sleep, I think it's the best angle you can have. We leave the camera slightly zoomed in so it mostly fills the frame with the mattress. Just know that this is a crib monitor, not a room monitor. It doesn't pan and tilt, and the more you zoom in, the grainier the image gets. But for watching a sleeping child, the camera has been excellent. How long will you actually use the Nanit Pro before your child outgrows it? River is 2.5, sleeping in a toddler bed, and we still use the Nanit every night. You'll get plenty of use out of it through the crib years, and even after that if your child is still sleeping in the same room. The only thing that changes is once they can get out of the bed, the overhead view is fixed. It shows the area underneath the camera really well, but it can't follow an active toddler around the room. Even with that limitation, I could easily see us using the Nanit until River is 4 years old. Is the Nanit Pro easy to set up and travel with? The Nanit is easy to set up, but I didn't think it was a good travel monitor until I bought the flex stand. Setup was straightforward. The only issue I had was getting the Wi-Fi connection, but once that was sorted, it's been great. One thing to plan for is where your outlet is. As your child gets older, they may be able to reach the outlet behind the crib, so we actually position one of the crib spindles in front of the plug to keep River from unplugging the camera. As for travel, I originally didn't think the Nanit was a great travel monitor. Then I bought the flex stand, and it completely changed my mind. You just have to reconnect to your new Wi-Fi network wherever you are, and now you've got your Nanit on the go. If you're a parent making decisions like this, that's what I'm making videos about. Subscribe if you want more of them.